Hi there, everybody. This is Tenacious Earl, and I'm just trying to get myself situated in the right way to do this video. How you doing? It is Thursday night, and I'm just going to go ahead and give a quick update on things. Everything's great. Just Thursday nights are always a little difficult for me because I play in a band, then we practice on Thursday nights just about every week. I don't play every week. I probably play 3 out of every 4 weekends. So that makes it a little bit on the it makes it on the difficult side to be able to play anything on a Thursday night. But that being said, I figured I would check in here and just give a quick update. So the Phillies thing, let's talk through it. So I'm gonna keep going. I've decided that my inclination is to give myself one more chance, and my outlook is to accept it, to look at it in a very pragmatic, but I want to be joyful with it. I don't want to be dreading it. I don't want to be losing my cool over it. I don't want to be stressing anybody out. It's a learning process. Some of this is literally this is the first time I've ever done a project that has wrapped me up in emotions that are this specific. So, and what I mean is, there are specific emotions that are getting, pushed upon right with this project. But I've taken a week or two, and now I've played some games in it. We played a game last night, final game of the Braves series, so we're through 86 games. But my point is, I'm hoping that everybody understands and will afford me some grace from some of the things that I have said and done. I mean, I can conjure up a conspiracy theory with the best of them, but I really need to keep myself together and treat this in a way that is respectful of everybody who watches the channel here, watches the games, but also I don't want to lose the passion so much. I just want to make sure the passion is directed in a way that is going to be building up this community instead of leaving people feeling a certain ways. So, if you've felt uncomfortable because of the way that I presented things, I understand, and it's something that I am going to continually work on. But in this case, I just really need to divorce myself from that idea that I have to learn to channel this in a way that is going to be productive for you all. So, hello Derek and hello Benny. So the golf tour, and I'm glad to see Benny. I've been helping him a little bit. I think he's got a project he wants to work on here with golf, and I've been excited because I think he was. I don't want to speak out of turn with him, or but I think I feel good about this because he's had History Maker Golf, and I think he was ready to punt on it, and I think I've helped him work, and I feel heartened that I can see that he is gaining some passion for it, which is that makes me feel good that I can be someone who can work somebody through that. But sometimes we just have to work through it ourselves, and I'm sure he did a good bit of that. But in any regard, I'm assuming he'll report on some of that on one of the sites, whether it's the Play Facebook group or whether it's Tabletop Baseball Plus or whatever. I'll be looking forward to that. But in any regard, just wanted to mention that we're 4 tournaments in. I've already done a recap of where things stand, but I'll probably give it another weekend off just because I don't want to overcook the golf stuff. I feel like there's an audience here for it, but I don't want to overwhelm too many people. I don't think I'm pretty sure the baseball lovers, some of them like it, some of them are not so keen to it. But I think it's something. The other thing is that I have a finite number of courses right now. I'm getting a slew of them for Christmas. So I've got up through the Masterful tournament, but up the next ones on the list are courses that I'm getting for Christmas. So that means I really just I can't do any tournaments after that anyway. So I'm really not in any big hurry to just like rush through 3 more tournaments and then I have to be on hiatus for a couple weeks. I would rather just sort of spread them out and take my time. I have some spreadsheet work that I just kind of continually do, but I also want to try and formulate some other projects. Another thing I just want to mention is, as much as I'm going to keep doing the Phillies project, I'm going to probably keep 2/3 of it offline, which is to say I'll put one game per series on unless I'm like in a place where I really feel like I want to show it. Like maybe it's a good pitching matchup that I think everybody would really enjoy. I feel like good pitching matchups are something that are remarkable, and you folks are extremely keen to watch. And so you get a Cole Hamels versus, for instance, Tim Lincecum back in the day. In that time period of the 2008 series, I think something like that is something that someone might be really interested in watching, as opposed to like Kyle Kendrick versus, I don't know, Jorge Campillo or something like that. But in any regard, let's just want to mention that I'll just continue to throw out the names of those who are doing projects that they do YouTube videos for. Just try and spread some love. Obviously, Tabletop Earl is heavy into Dynasty League right now. You'll see him on this channel here. And he's also, I assume he's still probably doing some APBA golf, but I don't know. I think he may have had his fill of that, and he may be taking a break from some of that. So you have Espo, who I think he's in the midst of a World Series replay, which is cool. A short project. I really am hoping in the future to do a little bit of short project stuff, and I'll mention a little bit more of that as I finish up here. RNGIDP. I would recommend him. He's really busting his tail. For a while there, he wasn't broadcasting much, but lately he's been broadcasting about a game a night, from what I can tell. And the level of work and the level of if you really take a look at his Twitter posts and take a look at the lineups that he's putting together. I mean, these are randomized teams, and it's rife with interesting subplots and the potential to analyze why certain deficiencies may benefit a team more than other deficiencies. He did it random, so it really you get left with you might have a team that looks really good, and you might have one that doesn't look so good, but maybe the team that you thought was going to succeed just is missing one key piece. So it's just, I would go over and look at that. If you're into the scientist aspect of what we do here, which I feel like this can be a science experiment if you think through your projects in a way that can be thoughtful and but creative also, and intentional in the reasons why you're doing it. I mean, I think it's great, whether it's Strat, whether it's any of the other game. I mean, I've played Strat because that's what I had to start. And actually, I'll mention, some of you probably already knew this, but RNGIDP, Craig runs it. He's actually the one that turned me on to Strat. We were both had done some soccer media and kind of ran into each other on the Twitski a few years ago, and I posted a score sheet from just scoring a game I watched on TV, and he's like, "Hey, you ever try playing Stratomatic?" I'm like, "No, I've kind of recognized the name, but what is this?" And that's where it went. So, I mean, you've got those guys. You have baseball demos. I'd be remiss to forget him. He's still doing some at-the-bat stuff, and I think he's still kind of wandering his way through an Atlanta Braves replay on History Maker Baseball. So every once in a while I'll hop onto the Facebook and one of his posts of a score sheet from that Braves replay will come up. And the fact that he gets to play History Maker Baseball and I'm playing Strat, I still love Strat, but I also love I love the narrative aspects of the History Maker setup. I love being able to roll off injuries and I mean, you can roll off injuries in Strat too, but roll off like cold streaks and storminess and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's a unique setup, but I think Strat Delaware's probably been taking a short break here, but I'm sure he'll get fired back up here soon enough. And I'm probably forgetting. I mean, obviously, if you're into the History Maker / play, the PLAAY play thing, you have Al Wilson and Steve Tower both have. Al actually has been on Facebook posting videos. I think he is rolling a new set they're going to release for History Maker Golf that's a 1980 set, which has got all sorts of neat guys like Seve Ballesteros, and I remember seeing Mike Reed, no relation, in that set. But you got like Craig Stadler and Fuzzy Zeller, I'm sure. I don't know if he was in that mix, but you got Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, sort of at the late prime of their careers and such. Good stuff. And so that's Al over at Facebook, and probably on the Play site. I don't know that for a fact. So, but anyway, I think my last thing is, so I was chatting with Jerry Ball last night, and one thing that I really need to do, I can pull him out here for a second. Not a few years ago, it was last year. I'm getting my rhetorical devices mixed up. All of a sudden, I got an interesting package in the mail that had like all of these basic Strat sets. These are like the 1948 Cleveland Indians and the 1953 Brooklyn Dodgers, and I have like 3 boxes of this size that are filled up with these cards. And I was chatting with him, and I realized that I have these things, and and the reason he sent them to me is I think he had a friend that he played Strat with who might have passed away. Hi Ken, how you doing? I think he just forwarded them to me because he thought that I would be able to do something with him. I did do a Facebook World Series between 2 teams that didn't face each other in the World Series. It was, I called it the World Series that wasn't, but I think I'm going to go back through these sets and see if there's a couple teams that make sense to roll off against each other. The trouble is, I'm not a real baseball historian, and so understanding all of the, I can go on to Baseball Reference and get a good idea of some of the sort of everyday average to fringe players from these teams. But a lot of people enjoy the historic aspects of baseball, and or the historical aspects. Maybe that's a better word for it. So that's another thing I'm going to try to do here, to try and sort of take the pressure off of the Phillies replay. And then the other thing is, and again, I really don't, the thing I don't want to do is get overcommitted with too much stuff going on. But, I mean, I still have the 2016 sets here, like Miami and Oakland. I haven't forgotten the super advanced TBL from 2016 set. It's just, I don't know about you guys, but when I feel like in my hobbies, if I kind of get out of the groove with something like that project, it's really tough to like steer it back in, because I feel like I've sort of detached myself from it. I mean, I really just would have to get the book out and sort of refamiliarize myself with where things stand, look at the standings, see where things were, and get a feel for how things were trending. I'll get back to doing that. Part of me, the biggest part of me, would really like to just rattle this Phillies project off and get it off the plate. And I think I just need to, on one hand, focus in on that, but on the other hand, also not get so focused on it that it sort of grinds down on me. But I've already talked about this a little bit too much. Leave comments if you have any questions about any of the projects I'm working on. If you have any questions about super advanced strat, I mean, any of the, any of it. I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to answer your questions about ATBA or payoff pitch or, Dynasty League. If you're into that, go and check out Tabletop Earl's videos here. He's doing some on that. But I feel like with History Maker Baseball, History Maker Golf, I'm okay. But I still find myself going on to the forums and even messaging guys like Steve Tower, like questions they probably feel like are super basic, and they're like, "Oh, that'd be a good question to ask the forum, because or it'd be a good question to look in the book for." So, but that's okay. No, I mean they're very helpful, but it's more my own situation that I can ask some pretty primitive questions and things that I probably either should know the answer to or are common sense enough that you could kind of should be able to figure it out on your own. But most of all, I appreciate all of you who have dedicated a lot of time watching our videos. Some of you have donated to us, and very much appreciative of that. I am getting to the point where I need to figure out the best way to implement it. I'm still mulling it over, but I would really like to figure out a way to create everybody who has contributed to. Actually, what I'm thinking of doing is, for the History Maker, for the Tenacious Golf Tour, creating cards for anybody who wants one. But what I would probably do is, the patrons, I would probably, I don't know, I have to look. I have to think about it. I don't know. I probably would just make anybody who wanted a card, if they had some traits that they wanted, especially if they, mirror their own golf game. I mean, I'm not real big on, I don't really want to put in like, the hacker too much, or, too many of the negative qualities on the card. But if someone wants to be sort of a hacker, we can, and is curious about it, we can work on that. But I've just gone back and forth on whether I want to tie that to anything. It's I know it can be a point of contention for some people who just like to be just like to be a part of this, and like to watch games and stuff. So that's where I'm still thinking about it. But let me see, what do we got here? Is there a make your own card guide for HMG? That's a good. Benny Blades wants a golfer. Who gets to be Happy Gilmore? Derek, I think you have just played the played the pawn in that direction. Larry Harris is here now. That is great to know. Welcome. So yeah, if any of you guys want a card, I can't tell you when I'm going to get them implemented, but I have a spreadsheet that lets me make these. I mean, you've already seen some of the cards I've made. I think I would just add whatever it would take, probably, I'm guessing 20 to 30 cards into the mix. We'll have to see. I don't know what kind of tournament ratings I'll give you guys. I guess I'm not real keen on giving anybody a 1A tournament rating. I'd probably guess in the 3 to 4 range would be a good place to set. Because, I mean, you guys would end up being qualifiers, and it would be pretty tough. And that's the trouble. It's like... But I'll tell you, the other thing I would most likely do is set up some fun outings that were non-tour related. Just so we could do some fun, I don't know, like maybe run a Nassau. If you know what that is, that's like a front 9, back 9, quarter a hole. Not real money, obviously, but yeah, maybe. I mean, I know you guys are money bags. We'll do $25 a hole. We'll just, someone's gonna have to buy someone else a new set of clubs before the time this is over. But we can do things like that. We could do we could set up. I don't know how you do that, but we might be able to find a way to do almost like a captain and crew style foursomes thing where but instead we just have everybody play, and the best score from each group carries into it or something. I mean, it's tough to. I think ATBA golf would be better for sort of a captain and crew format where you're taking the best shot off the tee, and then everybody hits from there, and then you take the best shot after that. So, I don't know. Tabletop Earl, if you're hearing that, and it sounds like something you'd want to do. Oh, there you are. How about that? How about that? A movie character golf set. Yeah. Get the old, what was Kevin Costner? I can't remember his, you got Shooter McGavin. Obviously, you got to have him. But I can't remember Kevin Costner's character's name in Tin Cup. But, Larry. Larry threw his pitching wedge into the woods. See, hey, we've all been there, Larry. At least it wasn't, I mean, you could probably go find it if you wanted to. At least it's not like you don't have to drain the swamp or anything. And that's not a political statement either. Literally the swamp, depending on where you are. Ty Webb, yeah. Al Shervick. Oh, I don't get no respect. Nice hat. They should give you a bowl of soup with that hat. Oh, but it looks great on you, Judge Smales. Yeah, Caddyshack, and we could, yeah, Al Cervic. That's what I said. I always wondered, and pardon me getting somewhat graphic or potentially racy with this. I always wondered if he chose his name because it sounds like a certain body part. If you were to, let's see, what other good movie golf characters could you have? Obviously, Happy Gilmore. Well, we could do Bob Barker, right? I mean, get out the old fisticuffs. Yeah, what was Shooter McGavin in? That wasn't Stephen Conrad. He's all in on some hot stove stuff for baseball. He says he thinks the Red Sox are going to get Eric Hosmer. They usually get their man. So, I don't know who did they have as their DH? Yeah, Bagger Vance. Yeah, there's one. Ken Castro with the reference. Yeah, that's. I mean, we could have the pathetic Jackie Mason character from Caddyshack. But yeah, it seems like there would have been a few more golf movies. But I mean, I kind of think of. The other thing you could do is you could get some. You could get the Bowl-orama or whatever it's called, and you could do. Is it Roy Munson? With the prosthetic arm. And I forget what Randy Quaid's character was in that movie. Kingpin. He was the Amish guy. Oh, there's two scenes in that are awesome. I really don't feel like I can. I really don't feel like I can talk about either of them because they're both a little on the racy side. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to skedaddle. But mattress on his back, shagging balls. Yep. Anyway, I wanted to check in here, and this ended up being a little longer than I expected, but I got a few people hanging around and talking the talk here, so that was nice. And I guess I'll sign off, but I guess most of all, I'm just going to keep plugging along here with my projects, and like I said, I will take a weekend off from golf, but look forward to that probably. So what is this? Tomorrow's the 1st, so I would say December 8th weekend. I'll probably get in a tournament because the weekend after that I won't be around. So, Matt, oh boy. Ouch. Good. Yeah, that's not the kind of chemistry you. Some people like that kind of. Yeah, boy, that's. Talking about Matt Lauer. Mighty have fallen, and I think there's gonna be more than that. So just keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. But just kids, if you got any kids out there who are watching this, respect women. Respect them. If you've learned anything, I don't care what political affiliation you are. I don't care what. It's just the thing to do. You just got to have. I mean, just because you vote for something when you're on the Senate floor doesn't make you a crusader for women if you're going to then go and treat them like pieces of meat or whatever. So, respect, man. Respect. That's what you need. I expect all the guys in this channel feel the same way I do about that. I mean, all of us have been susceptible to getting in on a joke or two here or there, but when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex, you just have to respect them. You can't be looking at them as your anything that you. I mean, you just have to. You just can't do it. You just have to use your head. They can be they can be awesome, awesome partners in this world when you treat them right, you take the time, you do the work, and you treat them the way that they deserve to be treated. And if you do that, yeah, not everybody is going to be attracted to you and all that stuff. Hey, we've all been there, but just be a man. And I think that's one of the things in this society that we are starting to miss out on is the chivalry aspect of things and the desire to be a respectful, kind, looking out for our both, I mean, not only our brothers, but our sisters, but I mean, just treating women with respect. Sorry, I mean, I'm just harping on it, but big advice. And so, hey, I mean, I'll tell you what, you're going to learn the hard way if you don't, because our society has changed by leaps and bounds. And as the father of a daughter, I'm happy about it, because I'll tell you what, the more that I hear this stuff, the more it makes me very worried about what my daughter may go into when she goes out in the world, but maybe it's starting to change. And that's a great thing. You don't need to have this system where, it's all about whatever looks, or all about, what you do, what you expect out of somebody. That's just garbage. I mean, be a decent human being, for crying out loud. Use your brain. We're all in this together. We're all human beings. Nobody wants to be treated like a piece of meat or an animal or like that. So just because you have some power doesn't mean if you ever get power, just because you have it doesn't mean you're welcome to do whatever the heck you want. If you do that, and that goes for the guy at the top too, who, if you recall the campaign, he said some bad things too. So that goes for him too. We all got to look at ourselves and say, what are we doing? So anyway, and Earl makes a good point there. I mean, but we need a society of openness. We need a society that will respond immediately. Obviously, we need to have, people need to be innocent until proven guilty, but we also need to be a society that we verify things, but we also don't immediately send somebody to, send a victim to the, to the town square for a beating because they come out and say something bad about one of our heroes or one of our, and guys, let's be honest here. What have we seen? We've seen producers, we've seen movie stars, we've seen newsmen. Guess what we haven't seen yet? And guess what's coming? You know what's coming. I mean, we've seen it, but it's been a while. There haven't been a whole lot of, remember Kobe. But, it just, you had Tiger. That happened. But, just, I don't know. I mean, the days where these powerful men think that they can just go and do. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We need a society that's going to be willing to accept that these things do happen, and that a woman who goes to the authorities immediately because she was violated isn't going to be shouted down, isn't going to be told that she's a liar, isn't going, you know. And we've had it on, we've had it both ways. So, but all I can, I mean, this was meant to be advice, and I'm carrying on. But if you do your part and treat women with respect, young kids, young men, you're going to be covering your own tail most of all. But you're also going to be giving yourself a chance to maybe become a husband that is loved and respected by his wife. You know, that's going to go a long way towards your standing as a man in society, as a man of your household. And it means a lot more than you know, pardon my loose terms, but shagging some piece of tail or whatever you want to call it. I mean, you know, just, you know, if you want to be, I mean, it's fine. I mean, if that's where I mean, we'll leave it at that. I mean, we'll just leave it at that. I've said enough. Be respectful. Be respectful of everybody. But most of all, the women in your life. Be kind. Anyway, good night, guys. I'm going to sign off. Try being friend-zoned for 50 years. Yeah. So, yep. Good night, guys. I'm going to sign off. I've been hogging the bandwidth here. So, probably not tomorrow night. Maybe I'm going to a championship football game for the state on Saturday. So, this weekend is just looking pretty awful as far as free time. Got stuff going on tomorrow night and Saturday and Sunday. Not enough time for tabletop. You know the way it is. That's life. So good night, guys. Thanks for chatting it out here. It's a great community we have, and just check in we'll check in from time to time when the games are tough to squeeze in. So cheers, good night, God bless, and enjoy your tabletop games. Thanks for watching.